Up next, Take2 Reviews, starring Jake Pyre and Paul Malone. Welcome back. So this week we are reviewing Life of Pi, a very religious movie. It's got a strong, powerful message that I think both of us felt.
There's a lot of influence in this film, both in style and in idea.
Like, the shots are incredible in this too. This story is kind of like unbelievable, and then you get to the end and then you're like, okay, that's realistic, but then it's like the whole thing, like, which story do you prefer, you know? The realistic one or the one that makes you, get hope.
The movie takes you through this unbelievable journey of this guy who's, cast adrift at this shipwreck. He's lost everything, his family. He's with a fucking tiger.
Yeah, a full adult-sized Bengal tiger.
Yeah, somehow manages to survive, make it to Mexico. And then, eventually we're told, well, that's one story, but there's another story. And which one's even true? Well, whichever one you like better, more or less.
Yeah.
And he gives us this other story that's just horrible. But it's oddly... It has, connotative ties to the fantastical story that we're told.
Now,
so it makes you think.
For sure. So I've actually seen this one before. And so when you hear the ending and you see that again, you kind of, start putting in place, where all the real characters or real, people are. And you're like... It shows them that message between, the relationship between man and God, I guess. So, it's interesting movie. I really enjoyed this one. My mom actually forced my whole family to see this movie when I was really younger.
We have her to thank.
Yes.
It's a transformative story. Absolutely. Both, for our main character, Pi, but it was a transformative movie for me to watch.
Yeah.
And experience just by viewing it.
Would you recommend this to anyone?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I've been wanting to see this for quite some time. I'm glad that you finally picked it up for us.
This is definitely a movie for open-minded people, I think. Definitely. It's a good look on a good perspective on a different life.
It's very reflective. Our character's more or less alone, so he has a lot of time to think about things, and I think we're kind of sitting there thinking about a lot of things with him.
Yeah. So we're going to sit on this, and we'll get back.
Next time. Welcome back. It's time to score Life of Pi.
Starting with screenplay. I think it's really interesting the way you see this younger kid kind of delve into religion and go through 3 stages, Hindu, Christianity, and Islam. So
that's all pretty much within the first act, too.
Right. So you get a lot of different, takes on a young boy.
That's quite a setup.
Yep.
Altogether, it's framed. It's written as a frame story.
Older Pi, where he's telling the story, and you kind of tells over top of that, and then when it gets, the part where he's stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, then you get younger Pi, telling his thoughts on him going through all that stuff and. So,
You're talking about when he's writing in the journal?
Yeah, and all that,
So. That was very clever, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also very natural. I would certainly want to, write things down out there.
Right. Yeah, that didn't seem forced at all.
All the symbolism that is throughout, which isn't really even pointed out until the end.
Right.
But, as you said, I think it kind of holds pretty fast.
I said before with the ending, if you watch this again, you can kind of fill in the parts, and it kind of gives you a different take on the story a bit. Honestly, it gets more in depth to the writing, which is really neat. I can tell a lot of thought went into this writing for the story. So, I think I'm gonna give this one a 9. I was really happy with this. This moved me a lot.
It's a powerful story, and it's very well done. And I don't really have much bad to say about any of it. I might have to meet you on that 9 on this one. Yeah.
Acting. a great performance, but it was restricted a bit to just really like two of the main characters, the older and younger version.
They were played by actors Suraj Sharma, who played Pai Patel,
The younger version,
and Irfan Khan, and I hope I do those names justice, plays the older adult Pai, who's kind of telling us the story.
Very strong performances by both too. They played them both really good, dude.
I'd say Irfan Khan's part of it was
more of the wiser man.
Yes,
he's learned a lot from it, and you can tell that he's like it shaped his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Those events,
and that feeling came through listening to him just talk about it. As far as the boy, it looked like a lot of physical work.
Definitely,
it looked like a lot of conditioning for that role, and a lot of preparation, like with a lot of his makeup and what they would have had to do to just get him to look the way that he does progressively as he's more and more exposed to the elements over time.
And you got to keep in thought that like that's a CGI tiger. He's not acting with a real tiger there, so it's like
at any point.
It almost reminds me of a little bit of Castaway. That amount of acting, that you have to do by yourself.
This was a very well performed piece, albeit it was a small number of performers. I like stories where it's a small amount of people and it's something just, fixing on something pivotal happening around them, but it's even more intense when it's just one person.
Yeah.
And you're just watching everything around them.
You feel more when you're just, delving into one character than many, because you get a broader perspective on one than, just a medium picture on many. I'm going to have to give this a 9.
I'm also a 9 on that one.
Score.
It had a lot of its roots in that Indian culture.
Mysterious, flutes and all that is just beautiful.
A lot of drumming.
Yes.
A lot of drumming. We even see Pai drumming throughout the story, which is neat.
You can tell this was an original score too. It fit perfect for this movie. The score did, like the feelings you would get from that, the hearing those, that score felt very well with what you're supposed to be feeling in that scene.
A lot of the musical movements throughout these beautiful, wondrous visual montages that we have, going through the water and all.
Right.
The music through those was wonderful too. It really brought those moments together even more fantastically, I think.
I'm gonna have to give this one an 8, I think.
I'm on to a 7, but it was a wonderful thing to listen to. All right, so the sound effects for this movie, my oh my, what have we got? A ship sinking. We've got a bunch of different animal noises.
Storm,
lightning, undersea sounds, and it all felt very, very believable. That sounded quite in depth.
All those animal sounds, definitely. The zoo.
Richard Parker was very authentic sounding.
I loved Richard Parker.
Oh man, Richard Parker has a place in my heart now.
He does. He always will.
I'm sitting around 8.
You're sitting around 8?
Mm-hmm.
I can't meet you at 8, but I'll give you a 7. Art and design. There wasn't a whole lot that you can do with an ocean setting, but man, they really did a good job with you see so many takes where they looking down the ocean. You see all the colorful fish. The one where he sees all the way to the bottom, sees the sunken ship, and it goes all the way back down.
There were a lot of those shots, like the ones looking into the water at night you're talking about, where I was reminded of when he talks about everything being within, I hope it was Vishnu, right? Within Vishnu's mouth?
Yes.
The child opens the mouth and mother looks inside and sees, everything.
And then it kind of zooms in on that,
yeah, and we
picture.
Get, this just fantastical universe thing, and the more we saw, images like that in the ocean, the more I just kept thinking, this is all within that.
One thing at the end of the movie, they, when he's telling, the other story, and he says that they had to kill the sailor to put him out of his misery, and he said that I don't know, he kind of watched the color fade from his face and everything, and that's actually what happened when he killed the fish too. In the beginning, you see him beating it, and then eventually the color drains and is left with this gray mesh. So it really shows you that color is life and life is color. Even when Richard Parker goes back into the jungle at the last scene, it all starts turning to gray behind him. Yeah,
it desaturates. That's another thing, the color, the use of color, and even the absence of color. I remember saying in some of the ocean sequences, I have not seen such black and such blues.
The glow of the island, where it takes that one shot and you see the whole thing and like the rim of it's all like glowing because of the acidic water and whatnot.
I thought that shot that we got of the island, it looked like a person lying down prostrate.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to represent.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's genius.
And the design of that island just had those big pools that were just endlessly deep. And
yeah.
That was so cool.
Like the swimming scenes, too. I'm going to have to give this one a 9 as well. There were a lot of scenes where I was like, whoa, dude, check that one out, Paul. That was cool.
I had a lot of wow.
Yeah.
I had a lot of those.
It wowed me. The colors wowed me. They were really outstanding on that. Especially for an ocean setting, too, for like a majority of it.
That's what I got to keep coming back to is it's difficult to produce fantastic things out of minimalism.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they did here.
Yeah.
I give art and design a 9 for this one.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
Oh, so many great scenes. I love the scene where you see the whale jump out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
And then just kind of slams back down and you see everything fly up. Like the scene where he's underwater and he's looking at the ship sink underwater.
Yeah.
That was a very, emotional scene.
There were different moments I got from this. There were, Titanic-looking feeling moments.
Right.
There were things that were reminiscent of, Jaws.
The whole, mysterious island, too. The shots, where you can see Richard Parker from the top of the trees and he's all the way in the back of there. Just,
yeah, and, there's that breakaway and you can see past it onto the beach and such. Uh-huh.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that was
cool
well
shot.
framed.
When the dude starts swimming in the pool, I like the shot, how it's underwater. It looks invisible until you see him, kind of swim across the screen. You're like, oh, okay. Because it kind of shows, the hotel and, really beautiful picture.
Again, with the minimalism, they made that work as fluidly and flexibly as they could with their camera work as well.
Did they do a good job, man?
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding.
I'm going to give cinematography an 8 for this one.
I'm going to have to give it a 9, man. Honestly, straight up. Special effects.
The effects are mostly the animals and
Yeah.
then just the fantastic visuals of, the sky and the sea, I think.
Yeah. Man, the CGI on all those animals was almost, realistic. 2012, and man, that CGI holds up, dude. Still holds up.
Most of the moments with the animals feels pretty damn real.
The movements, too, of the animals.
Absolutely.
The way they, the line,
This is maybe a weird note, but, you ever look at a monkey and it kind of looks like a hairy little person to you?
Yeah.
When he looks at the monkey and we see shots of the monkey and, she looks at him, it's in her movements and her expressions, but it's it's a little person there.
Right.
When he's like, where's your little one? Where's your child? And, she looks away and I'm like, oh. It's realism, but then it went beyond that at times to surrealism.
Yes.
Where it was just vibrant and fantastic and hyper-realistic.
For this one, I'd give it a 7.
7? I can rest with a 7 as well. Okay.
Film editing. There were a lot of cool transition shots. One was where they zoomed up at the moon and then it kind of went back and then flipped over and then was in a different scene and
yeah, we had that a couple of times.
The dude starts beginning to tell a story and the
background.
scene kind of just starts to explore all around him and then it opens into this new scene where the dude starts swimming in the pool.
Yeah, and that was such a simple transition, but it was such a good way to just, here we are getting into the story. The cutting around between moments in the after story and the main journey story.
Right.
And the cutting back and forth between those was also well timed. It wouldn't just be a weird time to jump around for it. So they considered their timing and going between those scenes well.
Right.
Quite well, I think. I will say a 7 for editing on this one. And again, I praise the use of transitions.
I'd say I'd give this one an 8.
This story is very much about coming full circle.
Yeah.
And here we are, full circle once more.
Picture overall.
Yeah, here we are.
It takes a very open-minded to see this story and kind of get the full grasp of the message, I think. Of just the
what does
power...
that mean? What does that mean for you?
Well, just the power of believing and hope.
This one emotionally got me a couple of times.
the character development of like the bond between Richard Parker and Pi, and as a story revolves, you grow to like love them both. It was upsetting, seeing Richard Parker just walk away, and
Yeah.
I guess I can understand why someone would feel the way that he did in that situation.
And even
he went through
still-
so much with that animal. It's like that's
So much
bigger
is-
than just a tiger to him.
So much as for him to say, the tiger is me.
Right. This has always sat in my mind as one of the better movies I've seen, message-wise.
This gets into so many things of just like the human drive for survival, and but also, like you said, the power of belief and faith and hope. It's such a beautiful story to me, and it's so damn beautifully told and shown.
I'm actually going to give this one 18 out of 20, just because...
I was fighting back saying 18.
It was, because
It sounds like we're just going to have to say 18, Jake.
It sounds like...
For a picture overall score for this, I have to say 18.
Yep, well.
It's so well executed, and I could say more, but I don't think I need to.
No. So, we're going to do some math.
Well, we've tallied up our scores for Life of Pi, and I arrive at 82 out of 100.
I came to 84 out of 100, so this is 83 averaged.
83 over.
Excellent.
Yes.
Would you watch this movie again, Paul?
Absolutely, man. Especially with that second story that it offers you at the end. It's just food for thought for a second viewing. So I'm looking forward to the second time.
It's like more input to the movie that you get when you watch it the second time. I would definitely watch this again. I've seen this a lot, so definitely would recommend you guys watch this one.
I need it for my shelf.
Definitely.
That's where it's at right now.
Definitely.
Very high status.
Well, it beat Interstellar, so...
Interstellar is also a need on my shelf.
Yeah, just by a half point, too. We're going to end our show here with a quote from the Malone.
Alright, here's your quote, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a goddamn cougar in the car! I know there's a cougar in the car, I put it in there! God damn
Man, so if they're up to me, this would be...
You okay?
I mean, it didn't hit me.
You alright?
Yeah.
Vern, are you okay?
Vern's fine, I think. Just
Alright.
says leaves.
Alright, that's not gonna work long term, obviously.
So you want to add up our scores? Let's do some math.
And then we pull out a pipe and just... as we're fast forwarding and everything, I'm like, wait, what?
Bye, Jake.
Pyre Malone.
Well, it's time for another episode.
Yeah.
On second thought. Bye, Jake.
Pyre Malone.
Oh shit, what did Isaac just win? Oh, he just won the game. I just lost the game. Help! Ladies and gentlemen, I lost the game.
He lost the game. I lost the game!
He lost the game. Ah! You lost the game. Ah!